Hello YouTube, Cows550 here, and we're back with round 3 of the Shaddoll mirror match. Now, I will say now, there is a portion of the video which is simply myself and Tomaz discussing about chain links. And I say discussing, it does get quite heated. Both of us are quite tired, both of us are quite highly strung as well. So, and especially as it's the final, it's, well, all I'm going to say is I can't stress enough the importance of knowing chain links, looking them up, how they work, knowing how they work, and being able to put that into practice. I do have a good understanding of chain links. However, admittedly, my understanding of chain links isn't as good as the top players. It isn't as good as it should be anyway. So, not only do I need to get better, but I need to stress to every player, even the good ones, even the bad ones, every player needs to learn chain links and needs to know them well, because in higher level tournaments, people can and will rule shark, as the term is called, just basically take you for granted, for advantage, and ruin your day just because you're unaware of how certain cards should be activated in that certain order. And it can lose you games. So that being said, it's a bit of a slow open for me, and I'm not in a great mood with the hand I've got. I set 2 cards and pass turn, to which Tomaz opens up with a Shadow Games and a Lila and some other cool stuff. The Lila swings straight in, and I have no choice but to take it. It destroys the super polymerization, which is bad news for me because I was hoping to have left that for when things get going, and, well, for when I can use it, because the hand I have at the moment is pretty abysmal. However, my life's about to get worse because he drops the Shaddoll fusion, going into the construct and starting to go off. The only benefit this gives me is the fact that he has an extra deck summon monster on the field, so if I do manage to pull the Shaddoll fusion off of the top of my deck, then I can utilise it. But I know the chances of this are slim, and dealing with a construct with a hand I've got isn't something I wanted to do. So at that point, I decided to destroy the construct. I knew he'd get the fusion back. However, if I manipulated my hand right, manipulated my field right, sorry, and played it well, then I knew I could sort of play around the fusion, knowing that he only has 3 cards in hand at this point, one of them being said fusion, so the chances of him having materials as the last 2 cards in hand next turn are slim. However, this is Yu-Gi-Oh, so those chances are actually pretty high. So, after a while of deliberation and working out the next play, the match does continue. He sets 1 card face down and passes over to me, to which I draw into a Shadow Games. Now, at this point, it's not great. Not gonna lie, the Shadow Games isn't very helpful. It's a great card and all, but in the situation I'm in, there's not really many ways I can utilise it. So I make a poke with the Morale attack, set the Super Poly, well, the other Super Poly in my hand, and the face down. Sorry, I set the Super Poly and the Shadow Games, and then tribute the Morale attack for a set beast. I figure it's the only way I can start to get a presence. The beast is obvious. I mean, to any Shaddoll player or any player who has played Shaddolls before, if a Shaddoll deck sets a monster face down by tribute summoning a monster, it's a beast. Hands down, it's a beast. So, basically, he gets the ride and mill, sets the Falcon, and puts me in an even worse position. However, my Super Polymerization is live now, considering I have a Shaddoll monster and he has a face-up light monster. So if things do go pear-shaped, then I can at least do something. However, the problem with that is the fact that the construct won't have anything to get back from the graveyard, because I'll be summoning it via Super Polymer and not Shaddoll Fusion. So when construct leaves the field, I'm not going to get any bonus back from it, which just further solidifies my bad position that I'm in right now. I mean, people might argue, you guys might argue and say that opening 2 Super Polymerization is kind of busted. And I would agree with you there. It's a good thing to open 2 Super Poly in a mirror match like this. However, you don't take into account the rest of my hand and what I can do with the rest of my hand. And if the player I'm playing against in said mirror match, or any match in that example, is good enough, they will be able to manipulate their field well enough to combat this, to work around the Super Polymerization. They'll know it can do stuff, they'll suspect you have it, and they'll be able to act accordingly. Now, I plan to save the Super Poly for when he attacks. However, the Lyra activated and targeted it, so I decided to chain off it. After a quick check in the grave to see what's there, I'm deciding which cards will be better. I don't want to send the construct because he'll get another fusion back to his hand, and I do not want that. I'd rather get rid of it any other way I can. So I send his dragon, and the Raiden, I believe, was the other monster on the field, to make my own construct. And this is where the chain link goes haywire, because I chain the Sinister Shadow games to the target, to when Tomaz selects it as a target with Dragon's Effect. Now, the chain link, if I remember it right, should have gone... it should have gone Shadow Games, drop a monster, flip the card, then pass over for Chainlink 2 to resolve, then Chainlink 1, and then the separate chains to work on separate effects. In all honesty, trying to recall it, I'm going to confuse myself and you even more. Hopefully, watching this, you'll be able to see the play better than I did and work it out and cover my mistakes, pretty much. Now, another thing also, while it is important to play fast and to not go into time, it's also important to make sure your opponent has plenty of time to respond to your plays. I know a lot of players don't do this, and admittedly, I was in a bit of a rush because I knew I needed to do as much as I can as quick as I can, and I had the play thoughts out in my head, and instinctively I thought I should have just gone for it. So I did rush it a little bit, so apologies there. However, I can't stress enough not only the importance of the chain links that I mentioned earlier, but also the importance of playing fair. I'll put it that way, playing fair. Give your opponent enough chance to respond. That way, they can't, that way the match will stay nice. The match will stay, the interaction between you and an opponent will stay good. And if the interaction between you and an opponent stays good, then you won't have any bitter matches. Okay, you might get annoyed with how the game's gone because of a certain top deck or something, but at least the experience with you and your opponent will be better. So, I don't know, top tip here, maybe? just play fast, but don't play too fast, and learn your chain links. At this point, we're just trying to work out exactly which effects should have gone in which order. In the heat of the moment, I did forget to discard for Beast, and I believe I do it in a minute, once I've decided what to discard exactly. Yeah, for this moment, I can't stress enough the importance of chain links. It's one of the most annoying mechanics in the game, but if utilised properly, it can be one of the best, most useful mechanics in the game. So I think we finally resolved the chain link now, and play is resuming. At this moment, it's obviously still Tomaz's turn, so he goes and activates another fusion, the one he added to his hand the previous turn. And at this point, I pretty much know I've just handed him the game. Now, I realised at this point, if I'd have got this chain link right, it would have put me in a great position. I would have been running toe-to-toe with Tomaz. I wouldn't have been in a better position than him, I'd say, but we'd have been on level playing ground, and the game would have gone on for maybe a bit longer, and the result may have been different. However, at this point, I also knew that screwing up the chain link would cost me the game, and not gonna lie, it does. It does cost me the game. The other things that help towards it as well is because of the heated discussion, I did lose focus, and I will misplay a couple of times, as you will probably see in the minutes of the duel to come. But anyway. So Tomaz here demonstrating exactly how to do what I've just been preaching, getting the chain links right and doing it in a respectful manner to know, or to give me plenty of time to respond. Not that I have anything to respond with, however, he has the courtesy to give me the chance to respond and acknowledge the plays, which I do normally. However, at this point I go to draw because I don't know why. I'm at this point very tired, very pissed off, and not focusing, not thinking right at all. So unfortunately this part of the duel does go a little downhill, for me at least. Tomaz overlays into, I believe, Emerald. No, it was the Castell, my bad. Overlays into the Castell, of course, to remove the construct from the field. Putting one of the final nails in the coffin, I might add. So I draw for my turn. Tomaz couldn't attack, obviously, because of the soul charge he activated earlier in his turn. Now, I try to think of a play where I can get rid of the construct and then banish the other one with the Caius. However, in my state of, I don't know what to call it, in my lack of concentration, I forget that mind control states that you cannot use the monster you summon with mind control as tribute material. it cannot be tributed. So I had to tribute my Shaddoll Beast, putting me in an even worse position. In all fairness, I probably should have scooped this game a turn ago after that chain link, after messing that up. I should have scooped up right there and just said, yeah, I'm sorry, you've won this. However, I don't know, I guess I tried to carry on and see if I could salvage anything from this game. Tomaz banishes the light chaos, the mini chaos dragon for the dark one, and summons a Raiden, overlaying them. Oh no, sorry, synchroing them both into Scrap Dragon, which the Black Dragon Collapse Serpent will get him another copy of the White Dragon. He flips on the Falcon that he set earlier, summoning, I believe that was the Beast. And that pretty much is game right there. Scrap Dragon would target the face down monster he just set, along with the Artifact Sanctum. So again here I'm working out chain links, seeing if I can respond with the Sanctum to the Emptiness. However, I cannot. So instead I decided to use Emptiness's second ability to destroy another monster, to destroy the Scrap Dragon. It does get rid of his Emptiness, however that now leaves me with one card on the field. And now 0 cards on the field. And 0 cards in hand either. So this top deck has to be absolutely godly for me in order to do anything at all. But unfortunately that doesn't happen at all. So I end up losing this match quite badly. Anyway, thank you for watching the video, and please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy these duels, or if you indeed want to find out more about the Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments that happen in Chai every week, Chai being Chichester of course, then check the link in the description below. Again, thank you for watching, and I will endeavour to bring you better commentary and better matches as the weeks go on. So thank you, YouTube.